Hey everyone, I just realized a few days ago that I have not been on my YouTube channel in a while. So I think it's been since April. It is now August, and when I left you before, I had one last chemo treatment to do, and I was anticipating my upcoming surgery, and all of these things were still kind of up in the air. And so I left you hanging without letting you know that the surgery went great. The pathology came back with no cancer. The chemo did its job, and I am completely cancer-free, and I'm so grateful. I have gone through the initial double mastectomies, and then I've also done my reconstruction already, so I'm feeling really good. The only thing that's left right now is that I'm still going back for antibody treatments every 3 weeks just to help prevent recurrence. And so this is basically the half of my infusions that wasn't the hard chemo. So I'm doing really well with those, and I'm just gonna have to keep doing those through the end of the year, and then I'll be done with all of the infusion stuff. So I still have my port and still doing a few things as far as that goes, but for the most part, I'm out of the woods and I'm really feeling great. We've been doing soap challenges since June, and I'm working on getting the challenges lined up for the rest of the year now. So that's the exciting part. So I just wanted to update you guys and make sure you all knew that everything is going great. And obviously my hair is coming back in. I've bleached it a couple of times, and the plan is to go smoky gray. So it's kind of like a platinum with a little blue tint to it. So that'll be happening hopefully this weekend. I had this idea to create an alternative way to create a teardrop swirl, and so I wanted to try it out, and it was moderately successful, but it needs a little bit of tweaking. So this was my first batch, and as you can see, I have one bar that sort of resembles a teardrop, but the rest of the soap bars look something like this, which is a little sketchy, honestly, with all of the colors that I used. But we'll just say it looks like a uvula, okay? So back of your throat, Today I'm going to remake it, and I think I'm just gonna reverse the colors because the fragrance is a grapefruit mint, so I still like the pink and green color scheme, but I think I'll do the base color pink and then green and white for the actual teardrop part. So I'll show you how it's done here in just a minute. Basically, the idea behind this is to fill the mold up almost halfway with your base color, and then use the squeeze bottles to make the drops. And so I need to extend the tips of my bottles with straws, and so I'm just going to cut these off, and I'm going to clip the ends a little bit here so that it will fit over the nozzle like that, and then I will attach them with electrical tape. Okay, so now that I have the straws attached, I'm using 2 bamboo skewers, and I will attach these to my mold with electrical tape here in a minute. But those are going to help guide the squeeze bottle. So far my straw is so long that it hits the bottom of the mold, which is definitely not what I want. So I'm going to take off about that much, and I think that's going to be about right. That's going to go well into the soap that way. So I'm going to adjust the other one to be about the same. And it's just a tad longer, so this will probably be the one that I'll start with, and then I will go with this one second. And I'm also considering, I didn't do this last time, I'm considering just cutting incremental amounts off my straw with each pour. We'll see if I have time for that or if that's even feasible, but it's a thought anyway. Okay, so I've got my chopsticks really secure now, and they will slide out when I'm finished using them. Last time I went ahead and poured my base color in before I secured them, and one of the issues I had was that my soap was starting to set up more than I wanted it to. I'm just going to be real careful and pour along the edge here with my base color, and then I'll be ready to add the teardrops. So the other thing that I did last time that I'm going to do differently this time is that I added my fragrance to the oils before adding the lye, and I don't think that was the best move either. I'm pretty sure I just over blended was part of the issue, because the grapefruit and peppermint should not accelerate trace at all. Just gonna stop right there. And now I'm going to add the fragrance and divide out my colors. So the other issue that I was having is that my squeeze bottle colors were running out and was blowing air into the base soap. And so I've increased my recipe by 2 ounces of oils so that I could overfill my squeeze bottles just a little bit, and hopefully I won't have that issue. So I would tell you what my micas are, but this one is from a supplier who's no longer in business. It's called Bubblegum Pink. That looks good. And then my green is a blend that I made. It's supposed to look similar to Maniacal Pea from Mad Micas. I ran out of it one day and I needed more really quickly, so I didn't have time to order. So I just tried to blend with some of the things that I already had on hand. And since I have the straw on here, I don't really want to cover the tip and try to shake it back and forth like I normally would. So I went ahead and dispersed my mica in olive oil so that I could just kind of shake it around like this and hopefully get it stirred in there. And then here's my white. And that has been dispersed in water. And again, I'm just going to try to do a back and forth thing as best I can here. This is still a really nice light trace. Just starting to show signs that it's thickening. So this is already starting out in a better place than I was last time. I'm not going to scrape it because I might want just a little bit for the tops. We'll see. Okay, so here we go. So the end where I got the best teardrop was the one that I started on, because I'd stick the tip into the soap and squeeze it good, and then try to move it really slowly and continue squeezing as I went. But obviously I wasn't squeezing quite as hard as I needed to. And I also had this problem last time where the soap was leaking out around my tape. So hopefully that doesn't cause too much of an issue. Here we go. It's in. I'm squeezing, moving it down slowly and still squeezing. And pulling it out. And so I'm just going to leave it tipped over and hopefully it'll run back out. So I'm going to try this time going in the opposite end with my second color and see if I can't get more of a uniform teardrop that way. So the hard part about this is I have no idea what it's what it looks like. The goal is that it's pushing down. We'll just try cutting the tip off. It's pushing down with each layer as I go, hopefully. But it also doesn't have any place to go, so it's kind of shoving it back up at me. So this may be a fruitless endeavor as well. Okay, last pass. I don't have high hopes, folks. It could be a really interesting design, but I don't think it's going to be a teardrop. So let's just go ahead and put the rest of this over the top. All right, I guess we'll see when I get it cut. I got the soap out of the mold. It hasn't quite been 24 hours, so it's wanting to develop some soda ash here, but I just couldn't wait to cut it. So I went ahead and did a vegetable peeler around all of the edges, and now we get to see what's inside. I'm already really glad that I swapped the color scheme. Oh, isn't that interesting? Well, it's not a teardrop for sure. It's some sort of a drop. Clear that off. Yeah, it's more like a tiger stripe, I guess, inside. If I wanted to get it to actually make the teardrop, I'd probably have to do it a little differently. So the center part is definitely a teardrop shape, and this outside part is what is throwing it off. So I'm not sure exactly what I would do for another attempt at this. I'm thinking about it, but I don't know if I could do it any better. If you have any suggestions on what you think might work, please tell me, and I will definitely try it. But this is interesting. Definitely interesting. There might be some other applications that this might work for. I don't know. I really like how the lines are a lot more defined than they were on my original soap. So I ended up with a teardrop in the center, but all the rest of that got really muddied. So I really like how defined those lines are. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, let me know what you think. So I also just wanted to say a quick thank you so much for those of you who have been praying for me. I know that that has made a world of difference for me, and I just appreciate it so very much. So also wanted to let you know, if you want to see more updates from me, I'm actually on Instagram a lot more often. So if you want to follow me there, Soap Challenge Club is my handle over there. So thanks, you guys. Hopefully it won't be quite so long between videos.